You join me inside the brand new Mercedes A-Class, and the reason we're starting in here is because this is where some of the biggest changes have taken place. Now, the interior of the old A-Class wasn't bad by any means, but this, well, I mean, just look at it. It looks like it belongs in a luxury saloon, and that's probably because design-wise at least, is very similar to what you'll find in the latest E-Class, and in some respects, even the flagship S-Class. I mean, you've got these jet-style air vents, lots of piano black plastic, leather and wood, and this huge screen that stretches across more than half of the dashboard. The bit behind the steering wheel shows the instruments like the speedo and the rev counter, and the part in the middle of the dash is for the infotainment. And the infotainment system itself is completely new and has some of the most advanced tech in the class, including a Siri-style personal assistant and what Mercedes calls an augmented reality display. However, it is worth pointing out that this is a high-spec model with quite a few options added, so don't expect your A-Class to be quite so special inside if you go for bog-standard entry-level SE trim. Now, there clearly wasn't much wrong with the looks of the old A-Class because Mercedes sold 1,300,000 of them in the UK alone. But the designers have still done quite a lot of work. If you see these headlights, for example, they're smaller and they're lower down, and that gives the car a bigger, more grown-up look. Now, if you come around to the back here, you'll notice that much the same effect has been achieved by replacing the quite bulbous lights on the old car with these sleeker, broader lenses. The new A-Class is based on the same basic platform as the old car, but it's slightly longer, and that's done good things for practicality. These door openings, for example, are wider, and that means it's easier to get in without bumping your head. And once you're inside, you'll find more shoulder room and more headroom, so someone my size, around 6 foot, feels quite a lot less hemmed in. There's more space for your luggage as well, although still not quite as much as you'll find in the back of an Audi A3 Sportback, and this lip here at the entrance does get in the way a bit when you're lifting things in and out. Now, it's fair to say that we weren't the biggest fans of the old A-Class, and one of the main reasons for that was its uncomfortable ride. But it's something Mercedes has worked very hard on with this new model. The extra length means there's a bit more space between the front and the rear wheels, for example, and that should, in theory, give a more settled ride. And the suspension has also been thoroughly revised. Has it worked? Well, quite often when we come on launches abroad, we moan that the roads are too smooth to give a real impression of how comfortable the car is likely to be when we get it back in the UK. But actually, out here in Croatia, they're just as bad as they are back home. And that means we can confidently say this car rides much more smoothly than the old A-Class. Is it a VW Golf? Not quite. It's a little less settled at low speed, for example, but it doesn't crash anywhere near as much over potholes. And when you get some speed in the car on the motorway, for example, it's actually really quite smooth. Right now I'm driving what will be, for the time being at least, the entry-level petrol model, the A200. And performance-wise, there's nothing to complain about at all. It's plenty punchy enough at low revs, and actually, if you let it rev out, it's really quite nippy. It is a little bit boomy though when you do so, and in that respect, the 180 diesel model that we drove earlier is actually slightly better. It's quieter and it's a bit smoother. It's pretty good to drive in other respects as well. Now, there are sportier versions than the model I'm driving here, like the A250 for example, but even this, it's fairly softly sprung, but the steering builds weight very naturally as you turn into corners. There isn't too much body lean, and there's plenty of grip as well, so you're really not going to complain on the handling front. Now, another thing Mercedes has worked really hard on with the new A-Class is refinement, and by that I mean how much noise and vibration you feel when you're driving the car along the road. And in many respects it's paid off as well. There is still a little bit of road noise, but wind noise is much better, by as much as 30% Mercedes claims. And that's thanks to new windscreen pillar, new door mirrors, new door seals and new boot seals. When you're going along the motorway, even at sort of 70 miles an hour, you can hear very little at all. There's no doubt the new A-Class is a much better car than the model it replaces. It's better to drive, it's more practical, but it's the interior that really makes it look and feel properly premium. And that's a good thing, because for the time being at least, prices start at just under £26,000 for the entry-level 180 diesel, rising to just over £30,000 for the Golf GTI, rivaling A250 petrol. But cheaper engines are on the way, and the Mercedes A-Class does make a lot of sense if you're buying on PCP finance or if you're a company car driver. For our more detailed 16-point review, just head over to whatcar.com and search Mercedes A-Class. And finally, remember that we don't just review cars here at What Car, we can also help you buy and potentially save you quite a lot of money in the process. Just click the link in the top right-hand corner for more details. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for an early heads up on all of our latest videos.